Hello, everybody. This is Frogman, and welcome back to Manufactio. We're going to work on episode 35. Last episode, we started the process of working on the 5x ore processing system. So we'll just take a real quick look at this once again. We crafted all of the machines that it takes to get from a ore type to an slurry type, which we can then use in a chemical washer to make a clean slurry, which we will then use a chemical crystallizer to make the iron crystals. And the reason why we're in here looking at this is because that's how we're going to be able to craft some of these storage components. And that is also how we're going to be able to craft blank patterns, which this is evil. This is hilarious, but it's evil. It's funny, and these are rather kind of expensive considering how many patterns I'm probably going to make, but that's why I've automated the titanium and the glass and the Certus quartz, and the last step for this is going to be the gold crystals. So, we got into a roadblock where we ended up having to unlock the moon in order to be able to unlock sulfur processing so that I could get a rotary condensator. And that means in a future episode, probably the next one, we're going to be reworking the sulfuric acid process in the building over there, which is awesome. So let us continue with this nightmare. So it's standard mechanism nightmare. So I've got a signal and flux stuck up there in the air, and we're going to be hooking a HV wire, HV cable up to that here very shortly, and I've got the sulfuric acid pulled down from the pipe that it comes out into this rotary condensator. It's set into deconcentrating mode, which means now it will take this sulfuric acid and turn it into the sulfuric acid that we need. So the first thing I'm going to do is I already clicked that one, I think. We're going to go over here and hook that one up and see what happens. So it's going to make the regular old normal everyday sulfuric acid. And eventually what's going to happen is we're going to be replacing the sulfuric acid process, the one we currently have, with the one that this will work with. So then I can just take this one out. However, what we need to look at now, again, is the process for the thing. So we need to be able to make sulfuric acid and iron ore into a iron slurry using a chemical dissolution chamber. So I've pulled all these guys up. Where is my chemical dissolution chamber? Chemical injection, chemical dissolution chamber. Now it's going to want to output to this side. And if I can just set these guys down so they're happy, I should be able to just take this, and we're going to place it down right next to that one. And it should, possibly, are you going to output? No? Am I going to have to pump that out of you? Maybe? Come on. This is the fun part of Mekanism. Fluid pipes. Is that going to connect to that side? Is it going to auto output? Probably not. Is that going to connect to that side? That's probably not what I want. Chemical dissolution chamber. That one. No. So it probably wants to go in on this side, doesn't it? Where did that guy go? Chemical dissolution chamber. Are you going to input that way? Okay, now you're going to input, so that's fine. That's okay. No big problem. Not really worried about it. So what this is going to do is this is going to take our input from whatever input that we're going to need, and we're going to then output the process of this into a system. So we need to be able to get some water in this guy now. So question is where do you suppose the water's going to go into? Nope. Are you going to go in the back? Nope. How about the bottom? Will you go in the bottom? No. Let's use the other pipes and see what happens here. Where did I put my other pipes? Pipes. Where did you guys go? Oh, duh. Yeah, we're going to have fun with this because we've got to be able to get those fluids into this machine. And I think the only fluid input it has is the side where this one is connected to. So let's pick these up. We're supposed to put water in that, correct? Yes. Do you have a siding thing? No, we don't have any siding things. Chemical dissolution chamber. That's not what I wanted. Is it? Chemical washer, chemical dissolution chamber. Am I step back? Yes, I'm a step back. Okay. Never mind. Never mind me. Losing my mind one day at a time. Give me my thing back. Put it back. Go say, you're going to fill yourself up full of the correct sulfuric acid type thing. The process then we need to do, excuse my brain. My brain is not happy today because I've already had enough fun. Let's see. All right. Chemical washer. Chemical washer. Let's grab the washer now, wherever he is. Crystallizer washer. Now this is the one that should have multiple fluid inputs. So I'm guessing the water is supposed to come in on top. Okay, good deal. That means powering that is going to be a pain. So if we do you, can we just face you this way? Yes, hopefully. I don't suppose the water will happen to sneak in the back of this. Nope, it's going to have to go on top. Okay, whatever. That's fine, because we got plenty of water right in that pipe. So I'll just have to run a pipe down here. So this is going to require an ore. Let's go see about snagging. Let's just snag something that's probably right here. Something that we're going to need a little bit of. So gold. Where did I put that one gold ore that I've been kind of hanging on to for a while? He's right there. Actually, we have a whole bunch of gold ore right here, don't we? Yes, we do. Good. Forgot all about that. I would love to know what that noise is. Anyhow, so if we put a bit of gold in this guy, it's going to take the sulfuric acid that it's getting out of this thing and turn it into a gold slurry. So, bonk. And again, a very, very, very slow process. The only thing we can do is add speed upgrades to these guys, and that's the only upgrades he's given us. We don't have energy upgrades. We don't have any kind of other upgrades. But that will produce, in a very short second, a little bit of gold slurry. Now, is that gold slurry going to go in here? Yes. I wonder if that's the output then. No clue. What did I do with those buckets of water? I should have a bucket of water right here. So we're going to go ahead and test something here. So if I put a bucket of water in you, you have a bucket of water and you gave me the bucket back. Okay, so if I give you some power, where are you going to output to? Because the next thing we need to do is we need to, was it crystallizer? I think it's crystallizer. Clean gold slurry crystallizer. So the crystallizer is the last step as far as this process is concerned. So he has an output on this side and an output on that side. So maybe it goes out the top. I don't know. Let's give this guy a little bit of power. Can I sneak you around the side here? And you're going to make that into stuff now? Chemical injection chamber, chemical crystallizer. Will that work? Yes. Go. And that is going to take a really long time. But that works. Cool. All right, let's get some water in on this thing here without getting blasted by this pole, this power. This is the fun part of Mekanism. Let's do something like this. And I will just go one more and then do that to there. That should fill this one up. It's full. So now that's just going to sit there and process. this little bitty teeny tiny amount of gold ore that I put in here into these gold crystals. And as it gets more of this slurry, it's going to make more gold crystals. And the process is going to make quite a bit of these gold crystals. We're going to have a lot of this stuff. So I'm going to continue to probably just run this until we get a lot of this stuff built. Now, the normal process for this thing afterwards is that you pull those out. So we're going to see, is that the thing that I can pull out from? Yes, it is. So let's see. Can I get to... I'm going to have to build an input chest for this somewhere. So we'll put an input chest. No, don't connect. Thank you. Do this and this. And I will put an input chest right there. You will open. Okay. And I need to just put that on there for right now. Turn on. So that I can just throw whatever ore I want to do into that input chest. And I guess that means I can fill this hole back in. And the iron plates. Right there. Come on. You can get it to it. Cool. Close enough. Alrighty then. So that is that part of that mess. So once this thing is, it's just going to sit here and process this. Now, as far as the osmium process, this is where the nastiness gets. I'm going to let it finish all of that, that stuff, the gold ore. The next part of the process is actually the funner, harder part of it, because in order to be able to do anything with these crystals as far as making them into something usable, we need a chemical injection chamber, which we have already crafted. As far as I recall, there should be a chemical injection chamber in my inventory here somewhere. Chemical injection chamber. So I'm not going to pull out of that just yet, but a chemical injection chamber is going to allow us to use this crystal and turn it into another type of crystal, or a shard, which we can then turn into an osmium clump, which we can then crush into dirty osmium dust, which we can then enrichment chamber into osmium dust, which we can then smelt. Fun. Fun, 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 fun. So let's see about that process. I would really like it if I could hook that on the back of that. Anyhow, so that process is going to require us to craft, come on, please, there you go, chemical injection chamber, salt. So hydrogen chloride, we can actually make hydrogen chloride with hydrogen and chlorine, which is brine with sodium and chlorine, or we can just process that output into salt. So what we've got set up down here is the machines that we're going to need for that. Again, is a rotary condensator. So let's look at the process for salt. So salt, if we can get salt up, is gaseous brine. And gaseous brine is made in a rotary condensator in a decondensating mode from regular brine. Which regular brine, the only way to get brine is in a thermal evap chamber. So that thing right there. So I've already got quite a bit of this stuff set up. So let's see if we can't get this into that thing. Yes, I know I'm going to have a long pipe of this stuff. There's other processes we're going to need this brine for. So, rotary condensating, you should be probably not on the right direction. Probably not. Let's rotate it. Are you happy now? Yes, you are. All right. So that will take that and turn that into gaseous brine once we get a little bit of power down here. And I have no idea where I'm going to get the power from. I guess I can probably do the same dirty that I did over there. So we're going to go ahead and just get these guys going. So that's going to take that and turn it into gaseous brine. And then we need a chemical crystallizer to make that into salt. So I'm guessing we can probably just put this guy back down. Well, let me see. He's hooked this direction that way to the rotary condensator. So it might work just like this. 2 more of those, please. And I'm going to do the same kind of a thing just for right now, just so that I can get over to that guy and not blow myself up. Do I have any more of those connectors laying around? Are they in my inventory? Nope. Let's go grab one real quick. HV connector. Why am I looking in that? HV connector, I have 47 of them. Okay, so I'm going to have to go ahead and craft a whole bunch more HV wires, but that's never mind, no problem. So let's go ahead, stick this thing up in the air on top of here. And this will eventually get connected. Wow, I haven't seen a Naga in a while. Are you going to connect right there? No, you are too far away. How very kind of you. Oh, well, wonderful. Let's see here. We'll just do this then. I've got a bit of this in my inventory, and I probably have some more in the box, and if not, I can go get some more. We're going to clean this mess up. I'm going to end up moving all of this into one building. This area is actually going to be used for several other things as well. So I got hardened flux ducts. Let's just go get some more signalum plated ones, because they're right here. Yes, please. That's on. No, it's not. Need you on. And I need you on. Okay. Over to these, we'll just run that cable this way for right now, down and dirty this direction, and then continue on with the process, because I'm going to need a whole bunch of this stuff anyway. So we'll just do that, up, over, and good. And you guys should be processing gaseous brine into salt. Very good. Which we can then take the salt and run it into the back of that thing. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. I think we're going to end up cleaning this up and making it a lot nicer looking for sure. Come on. And that needs to go into the back of that thing. So servo it up. Is that not where that goes? Let me see. The back is that button. Maybe? Or is that the back? Items configuration, gases, transporter config. There isn't any purple. Extra? There it goes. Alright, so I can take this thing out of here then and place this in here and make a bunch of other things with it. I'm going to let the gold run for right now and just finish up that little process so we can just continually talk about the rest of this thing. So the next step after that, so the crystals, crystal, we take it from a chemical injection chamber, then it needs to go into a purification chamber, which again will need some oxygen. So yikes, we got another machine we got to make. I think we can squeeze some oxygen in here. I may have to move that item pipe out of the way. That will turn that up. We're going to have to make oxygen now. So oxygen is made in a electrolytic separator. So that's one thing we do not have at this point. So let's get us an electrolytic separator. Electrolytic separator is not impossible at all. I need 2 basic gas tanks, so 1 and 2, and 1 basic fluid tank, which is one of those, and that, and there's an electrolytic separator. Cool. Quit running around like a maniac. Alright, so we have to get oxygen into that thing. So what I'm going to do for right now is we're going to get rid of this process, or get rid of this little pipe out of the way for right now and let that kind of back up, because I have a large amount of salt that I don't need to be processing that stuff with. So I'm going to work on this little process. So electrolytic separator said it needed oxygen, right? Purification chamber. said it needed oxygen. So easy way to get oxygen is just we turn this guy to the face where he's going to see the oxygen and then give it some water. So I think, do I have any more pipes on me? I have one. Lovely. Do I have any more pipe over here? No, and we'll just use this stuff then since I have it on me. You are filling up. I don't want you connecting to that. And I am going to have to provide that some power. There you go. Which side is going to be the oxygen? Excellent. So I'm just going to dump excess on that one, since I don't really need the hydrogen at this point for this process. And that's going to fill that up with oxygen. So once this gets done purifying the crystal into a, what is it, shard, one of these, once it gets done taking care of the shard, it will then set it into this purification chamber that will be iron clumps, which we can then make the system a little easier. So one crusher, which we've already got made. So I'm going to tell this one to eject out the side. So the input is going to be on this side. And you should be picking up your stuff there. Good deal. So I want you to eject out that side. Where is it? Output, nothing. And then auto eject so that it automatically takes whatever's out of there. This is going to be set up for the crusher. The crusher is going to input on the right side and output on the left side into a pure enrichment chamber, which the enrichment chamber is going to be the thing that's going to take care of the last little bit of the process. So if I go eject on and I do this to here, so your input again is on that side and your output is going to be over there, we can put a chest down right there where it'll automatically push stuff to, since I have it now set to automatically do it. Let's go grab us a chest. Or two, because I have a bunch of things I need to get rid of. So chest. So a couple of chests, please. I have a whole inventory full of salt that I want to use up before we play through that other mess. But that should do the majority of the work that we need to do. So if I put you down right here, everybody's got power. This is going to take a lot of power to run too, by the way. This is going to take a massive amount of power to run this. I'm going to put a chest down here for all of the salt that I have in my inventory that I went and dug out of a couple of creeks, rivers, whatever. Come here. Give me that thing right there. Cool. And we'll just leave that disconnected for right now. Actually, I'm going to have to run it around the back anyway. But this guy is doing his extra. We've got plenty of hydrogen. We've got plenty of... Just dump all. I don't want you keeping any of that hydrogen in you for right now. Okay, so all I should have to do to check this process is to grab some of these gold crystals. I take one and I put it in here. And it's going to process that into a crystal. It's going to process that into a shard, which will then be processed into a gold clump, which will then be processed into a dirty gold dust, which will then be processed into a pulverized gold, which we can then smelt into something. What can I make with a metallurgic? Oh, yeah, that thing. So once that's finished, which will take just a second, this is when I wish I had my speed up wand. Yes, I know I can make speed upgrades. There goes that. That should be output into here. Should. Are you going to output it? On. Did I not set this one up right either? Input is on this side. Output is on that side. You should push that into there, which you did. Now, depending on the speed at which this thing uses up that oxygen, we may have to use a tank on this. But like I said, I'm not really planning on using this system for anything other than the current osmium process. So that just osmium is what we're going to do. That's why I'm going to leave a a thing right here, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a bunch of iron and gold through this and just push it out into a chest so that we can then have that process so that I can make the things that I want to really make, which is the 4K storage cells and the patterns. So, and as we can see, we're now crushing this. Once that gets done, that'll go all the way over to the side, and then that thing works. The reason why this works so well is because if we look at this process right here, let me go like here. We can go to gold slurry, gold slurry. 1 gold ore makes 1 bucket of gold slurry. 1 bucket, or I should say 1 millibucket right here, makes 1 millibucket of clean gold slurry. And it only takes 200 millibuckets to make one of these. So that's where you get the 5 times, because there's, 2 times 5 is 10. So that's how you get the max amount out of those things. That's the deal. So that's why it does what it does. So as soon as it cleans that up, which it should here in just a second. Boy, that's a slow process. All of these can be speeded up too as well. We can definitely research the speed upgrades, but again, like, I'm not really planning on needing a lot of this. I'm just doing it for the fun of it. And there is a pulverized gold. 1 pulverized gold out of the whole process. So we're going to let that process. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and go get the rest of this gold that's over here in this box, and I am going to run most of that through that, because I'm going to want a lot of patterns. I'm going to want a lot of patterns. Chest is right here. We're going to go ahead and run at least that much through there for now. This guy is going to continue to do what he needs to do. This is going to need to do what he's going to do. And I will probably try to figure out a way to clean this up. I can probably just run the power underneath all of them, and that'll make it look a little nicer. And we will probably build a little enclosure on the outside here. As far as this process is concerned, the brine, gaseous brine is going to be something that we're going to need to look at eventually. And I'm just going to kind of do a quick just detour here for chlorine and lithium, because chlorine can be used, of course, to make hydrogen chloride, which makes the salt. Sodium, we're not going to be using anything at all. Brine, as far as brine, is going to be utilized in making lithium, I believe, somewhere. Let's see, brine, concentrating brine. It's chlorine into hydrogen chloride chemical injector. This is kind of another way around this, but this is going to be necessary later on if I decide I want to play with the big reactors, I should say the fusion reactor from Mekanism. This is a lot of power. The problem is this thing is such a pain in the butt to keep it stable that I don't almost really feel like it's a good way to do things, but we may look at it, just depending on it. I also have another option as far as making power, which we may also look at as well, which is going to be the exotic science, the energetic generator. These are kind of finicky as well, but I have seen and built several of these things that make a considerable amount of power as well. So we've got a couple options. That thing is going to be necessary eventually anyway, but at least I got all that running like I wanted to do last episode. So I want to put this in there so bad, but I'm not going to. What are you doing? Are you still working on all of those? Why is this not working? Let me guess, that's not an input on that side, is it? The input's probably right there. Well, I'm going to have to rework this power. I'm just going to have to do that. So whatever. I'll worry about that later. I would like you to be working on this, though, sir. Please. You go in that one. So we'll give you a half a stack of that. And that'll make a bunch. But those will make us something that we really need badly, which is patterns. Not a whole lot of patterns, but patterns nonetheless. Hello, please. Excellent. 8 whole blank patterns. Yay. Pattern terminal. What's a pattern terminal take to make? That's not a whole lot of nothing. Give me one of these, please. I need one of those. Ooh, I've got to do all that stuff and craft a few things. But anyhow, patterns, wonderful, done. Next step, we're going to be playing around with that mess, and because we're going to watch that mess work, and because I unlocked a better process for sulfuric acid, which was the sulfuric acid process in the processing system here. This will allow us to get into this system, which will make a considerable dent in the amount of sulfur that we're using, because it only takes one piece of sulfur to make a lot of sulfuric acid. And the process over here has been working very well. Matter of fact, before we started this episode, this was at almost 4,000. And that's the thing, is that that little process over there is the only thing right now that's using the sulfur, except for the conduits that we just made, or the item ducts that we just made. So this is working fairly well, to the point that I've actually been having to come over here and shutting it off occasionally because I need to make some more buckets. So definitely worth my time to do this silly little process, because it's saving me on sulfur. But yeah, we're going to be working on this probably next episode. So I guess that is plenty of time. I have spoken long enough. I hope you guys at least got something out of that mess. I will, for sure, between episodes, clean that area up and make a little, I don't know, pretty out of it, I guess. But we will be working on this for sure. So I will see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for watching. Bye.